Yo, people, welcome back. Lateness is greatness. You already know what time it is. It's time for another preview. Leeds versus Chelsea. I mean, listen, we've had a whole week to prepare for this game. We've had a whole week to wait for what could potentially go on with Leeds as well. I've spoke to a Leeds fan midweek as well. You know, they just lost last week as well, so they're a bit up and down, that team. We know how they have been this season. But before we get into all of that, big up to the boys in the building. Mayowa, how you doing, bro? Welcome back.
I'm good. What are you telling me? I'm team Mandem. I've been in the comments since 4:07 p.m. Matisse Army is strong.
Strong.
Do you know what's mad? Yeah, is I actually late putting this up as well. Mad. Usually I put this up like a day in advance. I only put it up at 4.
That's two. No, that's greatness, man. Man, not in the cinema. Yeah, when you get there and like they're doing all of the previews. I see.
It's all bad. Big up Sam as well. How you doing, bro? How you doing back?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Obviously buzzing after the Everton win. And yeah, this week's been good, man. The weather's been up and down. Like, when you wake up in the morning and you're seeing the sun shining, it's like better days are coming. And obviously the stuff that happened with Harry and Meghan.
Yeah,
I don't know. Piers losing his job, all of that stuff, it gassed me still. So yeah, man. I'm here for all that entertainment.
I can't lie. That did consume my week. Like, football was on and whatnot, but that did consume my week big time. There's no doubt about it. I was 100%.
We're saying what? You wanted to change the content, yeah? Man, the piece preview with Meghan and Harry,
Bro, I was slightly ready to like do instant reactions to it and like all that type of stuff. And I said to myself, you know what? No, let's just focus on what with the lane we're in. Do you know what I mean? We've taken our lane. Let's not deviate from it. But let's get straight into the game as well. I mean, Leeds, this team. I mean, I remember earlier in the season when we beat them, I think 2-0 at home, and it was a very we outran them, we outfought them and whatnot. But for me, Leeds are that team where they play such good football. They're so adventurous, but at the same time, they play into your hands every single time. As a big team, they don't change the way that they play for anybody. They're just adventurous. I saw them against West Ham. They allowed their midfield to be split wide open, like it was nobody's business. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you make of them? Because for me, I'm just like, this should be a game potentially where we actually thump them. Like, we score a lot of goals. You know they're going to give you chances. They're going to be wide open. How are you feeling going into the game, just confidence-wise?
With the run that we've been on, we have a foundation of consistency. So it's not a game I'm thinking, we're going to go in and struggle. We've been performing well. The reason why this game is so interesting is, like you say, the way Leeds play is so like rock and roll and pedal to the metal. Like, it's that you're going to have opportunities. If the centre-back is bumming off right wing and the other centre-back is playing middle wing, like, there's going to be opportunities for you to go through in it. So hopefully it's about, once again, can we take our chances? What's really unique for us is, I know we've mentioned it here a while ago. I know you and me and Matisse, we've spoken about on Twitter about how that's playing further forward. We saw that, last week, and we saw some results from it. We saw a disallowed goal. Yeah. We saw win a penalty, and we saw a OG. And a lot of that was kind of committing into movements in comfortable positions where, when you're playing Leeds, those positions should open up. So it should make for a good game. Of course, with Leeds, the way Leeds play, if they get it right, it can be amazing for them. I'm feeling fairly confident, but it's one of those games where, like, you're watching and you're just thinking, okay, let's get it done. Kind of what Arsenal done to them. I think it was in the first match. Get it done early, and then it's like, it's cool. We can call. Because if it goes to the second half and it's a bit sort of, I like this. I like Leeds as a team. I like Mayowa. I said at the beginning of the season that I see them finishing 10th with like a 50 points, and I feel like they need only 15 points to get to that mark of 50. Yeah. The issue with them is the way they play, right, is the way you would expect like a accomplished world-class team to play. Yeah. And that's because of their manager. But the thing is, when you haven't got like the squad depth or the actual 11, you're going to find weaknesses you can exploit. Like Pep Guardiola can play the way he plays because he's got like really good players and he can coach the hell out of them and they can operate and do that all the time. Yeah. Imagine trying to do what like look at Arsenal. You know how Arsenal conceding, right?
Yeah.
The goalkeeper kicking everything. You can't do that because the players ain't got the juice. That's why it's not you've got high caliber players, it pays off. That's almost like Leeds. Leeds, because they're so well coached, they pull it off. But when it goes wrong, it's because the players are not that.
They're not of that level, yeah.
Exactly. But I like them.
Yeah. Big up to the chat as well. Hudson Odoi season, extreme season. All of you guys, George, big up to all of you in the chat. I can see you active in here. We're going to obviously be taking loads of questions from you as well for this as well. I want to engage you guys. But, I mean, Sam, what do you make of Leeds? Because as well, the thing is with them is that we speak about individual quality maybe not being up there, but they really put in the hard graft in terms of the running that they do. The fact that we outrun them in the home game was like much to my surprise. Obviously, we were always trying to be that pressing team, energetic team, a team that can, match others in terms of commitment under Lampard. But Leeds are on another level in terms of your fitness for Leeds just has to be A1 at all times. And another thing that's interesting as well is that even though, Leeds are very open as well, they like Mayowa said, they can create chances. Like against West Ham, they created loads of opportunities. But at the end of the day, they lost 2-0.
They were unlucky. They were unlucky. Yeah, they were unlucky in that game. But that's the thing with Leeds, yeah. Like, they're kind of their enemies of their own downfall in a sense because they're so structured and their system is so well thought out, and you can see the game plan that they come into every game. Yeah, every team has their tail up when they come up against them. Like every team, it's like they're a top. Like Mayowa said, yeah, they play like a top side. So every team comes as their best. Like they know, okay, cool, we're playing Leeds today, so we have to give our all. And I think that kind of is their Achilles heel because they don't have the quality to do that throughout the whole season. But at the same time, the reason why we have to be a bit aware is because we don't know the type of Leeds is going to come out against us. Like we could get a Leeds where they could just be on form. Every pass is just clicking. The Leeds that played against City, their first game against City, when everything was just clicking, and you're thinking, right, this Leeds team can finish in the top 6. Like I remember when I did predictions at the beginning of the season, I said a madness, bro. I said Leeds could finish like in the top 6, 7 because of the way they were playing. But obviously it doesn't make sense because they don't have the squad depth. But at the same time, because they play such good football, they've got every player in that team has bought into the philosophy. It's like, okay, cool, like. If I'm not watching a Chelsea or I'm not watching one of the top 4 sides, I'll watch a Leeds team because they're very entertaining. Because regardless if they win or lose, they're going to entertain you. Right. So I proper like Leeds, and I like Bielsa. You know when he's just on the sideline, man, just going up and down the side, thinking he's just squatting. He's proper energetic as well. Like I like him, but I think when you play against them, if you get an early goal, the floodgates can open. And I think that's something that we need to try and do in this game. First 45, let's get a goal. Like let's cause them that problem. Let's throw them off their system a little bit. And then if we get that early goal, we can just start getting more. Because for them to lose 6-1 to United at the time?
Yeah.
It's like United, fair enough, United have firepower, but they're not that good. Do you get what I'm saying? For you to be losing 6-1. So yeah, they've definitely got some problems in their team that we can kind of capitalize on.
100%.
I'm looking at, because the thing is, I think with Leeds, right, I think they're perfectly suited to how we play right now. Because defensively, we're very solid. Leeds create a lot of chances, but they're not really very clinical with it. I'm going through their West Ham game. There's 17 shots, 2 on target. Obviously, they couldn't get the goal. Yeah, 17 shots. Like they're really
the 2 on target.
They scored though, and then they scored, and that offside was a bit.
It was a bit shaky.
But they haven't scored a goal in their last 4 games. So West Ham.
This Captain Tubbs guy is a hater, bro. He's just a hater,
I feel
bro.
like he comes to this one.
He's just a perennial hater.
Oh look. So because at Stamford Bridge, right, Bamford did score against us, right? We all remember the goal. Phillips with the ball on the left-hand side, flips it in, round Zuma, and then Bamford rounds our goal.
That was a Zuma mistake, though, slightly.
Yeah, it was a Zuma mistake. Zuma's probably not going to play this game. His positioning against Southampton was a bit off as well. But Leeds have failed to score against West Ham, failed to score against Aston Villa at home, lost that. They beat Southampton 3-0 at home, and then they lost 1-0 away from home to Wolves. So failed to score out of 3 of their last 4 games. But the thing is with Leeds is they're always going to create opportunities, but our defence has been so solid. We've been limiting teams to shots on target. I think Leeds is one of them teams where it's going to be very interesting to see if we can still be. I think we'll still have the capability to keep a clean sheet, but do we limit those shots? Because Leeds, they play. They remind me a bit of like Atlanta in Italy. Like they just full on all the time, just like
all the time,
kick and rush football. You know when you used to play in the cage at school? That's them.
Just energy, always just sweating. Like, but that's the thing. I think that's a problem that they have as well, because like when they get into the final third, it's like sometimes you can see, especially maybe it's just Bamford, but he just looks burnt out. Like when the opportunity actually comes, it's like he hasn't got that composure anymore because he's been running around so much. He's been trying to counter press from the front for every ball, and then when the opportunity comes, he misses so many chances. It's actually mad. Like if you watch him, if they had a clinical striker, they'll be in a much better position.
That one's a hard one, because like you just feel like in general, if they had a better player in each position, you think they go to another level in it. But I feel like what is great about, if we're looking from a Chelsea perspective, this 5 at the back has essentially what Tuchel's done is he's seen where the weaknesses in our team are, and he's put a system, in place, and he's operated in a way that we can kind of cover those things. Like you don't ever really see it being on top for our defense at the moment. Like I can't remember the last time I was watching the game. I was like, I think we spoke about it in terms of a team. It was Barnsley that game where it's like, it looks a bit mad right now because there's constantly a shape. You constantly have one centre back in Christian that can be a sweep. You have outlets. And even the way he's operated with the middle, you have a way of being progressive. Naturally, we're trying to play the ball forward. We're not trying to go all the way to the wing and then whip it in. It nullified certain threats that we were looking really, 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 really shaky against. So the really and truly, the massive thing for this is, can we convert chances? Because from minute 1, they are going to be everywhere. Their formation is not fixed. That means that if our forwards are moving in the right way and we pass well, we should be close to goal. Can we score? That's it. If we score goals, we're fine. Everton, great example. I was frustrated initially. I wasn't frustrated, but I was like, with the 3, when are we going to actually convict to go into the box? Because naturally, when you have a false 9, you kind of have someone that's gone wide, and then you have someone that's coming in, but no one's going into the box. As soon as someone started making that run into the box, we were laughing. We were laughing because we had a vocal point there. So that's what it's going to come down to. Of course, our guy Kante is going to play because it's energy crew.
I have to ask, this is interesting because this game, right, is going to be very, very high energy, as it always is against Leeds, unless we take the notion that we're going to pick them apart and we're going to slow the tempo down and try and contain and control them. Under Lampard, we didn't do that. Like I said, it was kick and rush. Everybody was on it. We've got Atletico Madrid on Wednesday to prioritize as well, because that game's still close. So Atletico are definitely there for a comeback at all times. We've got the massive advantage of having the away goal, now being at home. If we don't lose, we don't go out. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we are in control of that tie, but it's still a massive. Like, if we were to go out now in that stage of the competition after doing what we did in the first leg, it would hurt. Like, it's fair play if you get whooped up by Barca and Bayern the last 2 times you've been at this stage, Chelsea, and you never really gave me any hope because we was always dominated in the first and second leg. If you were to lose that Atletico game and go out after all the hard work we did, oh my days, I can't tell you the feeling. So knowing that, and then knowing that Jorginho's not available, Mount's not available, do we think that obviously we're going to get into the lineup, but are you thinking at all to yourself that the lineup has to be impacted by that Atletico game? You have to
100%.
Manage both at the same time. And also on top of that, you have Rafinha, who's probably their main threat. You kind of maybe want a Kante for someone like him, but do we have to balance the 2 games? How do you feel about that? I'll start with you, Sam.
No, I think you have to balance it, bro, because that Atletico Madrid game is very important in it. Like, I think these 2 games are quite pivotal. Obviously, we've been talking about him having that period before these games when he had that tough running, But these 2 games here, Leeds, fair enough. We're expected to win, but if we lose against Atletico because of a decision that he made in this game, like not playing someone or starting someone, they either get injured or something happens and then he has to refigure the team for Wednesday, then that will be like, that could turn fans against him. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm worried in the sense because because we're doing so well.
No one's ready for a defeat.
And I don't want to lose, bro. Like, and I'm at that place now where I'm going into every game and I'm thinking, yeah, we're gonna win this game. We're gonna beat these. We're gonna beat Atletico. But at the same time, Champions League nights, Atletico they're gonna bring everything. But I'm just hoping that he doesn't get comfortable, because you know managers after like 11 game runs. I think he's not even that managers that come to Chelsea.
I don't think he can, because we're still fourth.
Yeah. But
and it's the nature of person he is, right? Like originally, I didn't want people to get too overbought into his words, but one thing
I'm bought, bro. I'm bought.
This one thing that I've always liked about him is that it's not about talking a big game. Like, he's very methodical, but at the same time, he wants to achieve. Like, you can see it. Like, he doesn't go into a game for a draw. Like, nothing's half-hearted with him, and that's why. Eventually, when I started thinking about it, the reason why him coming to Chelsea makes sense is because at the end of the day, he knows that Chelsea have to challenge City next year. He wants to challenge Pep himself. Therefore, the ambition matches. It's about, can you make it work? One thing everyone's saying at the moment is, oh, Chelsea have squad depth now, and oh, Chelsea squad is stats, and oh, he's reimagined the squad. We knew that the squad was stats because people were saying that we were going to win the league with Lampard. All that's happened is you've got a better level manager that is able to do the basics with the squad. And the basics of Chelsea is we should go into these games and beating them. In terms of the basics of the players, Kante is, I know he's had his fitness and everything, but Kante is a professional, he's a model professional. Like, I don't have any fear that he will compromise himself. Obviously, you can pick up niggles and everything, but you could probably say that with so many players on the pitch. You could say that, if you play Reece James or you play Chilwell, they might get injured and you have to play Alonso everyone. But I think with Kante, the reason why this sort of game is good for him is because he's enabled in these games to play how he likes to play.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have to like compromise himself. And the thing is, if you get this game done in the first half, if you wanted to, and it's kind of the opposite of what you usually do, you can actually take off a Kante instead of like bringing him on. You can actually be like, Kante, listen, you've done your running for your day, you've done your interceptions, we're 2-0 up, you go and rest. You know, we're back at the bridge on during the week. So
yeah, to expand on that as well, this, like you said, this is the kind of game where Kante, he likes to run about, nip about. Leeds are going to be that team. Do you know what I mean? He's going to get to maybe see the best of them as well, because their midfield is so open. I remember a freeze frame that I saw against West Ham. They were attacking, but their midfield, there was nobody in midfield. Like, big man team, there was nobody in midfield. Like, it was like everyone was forward or everyone was back. And if they had lost possession, the transition would have been nuts. And Leeds are always like that. Like, they're just like very... they're playing on the cuff. Do you know what I mean? They're very like
theaters, man. Yeah. They're just everywhere. Just that.
But I kind of like it, man. Obviously, not when we're playing against them, but like they're just a unit in every sense. Attacking, defending, they just move as a unit. Obviously, it's got its flaws and that, but yeah, I think in this game, I would want Kante to start, but at the same time, we've seen him get injured like too many times when we're not even expecting it. So it's one of them ones where Jorginho, I feel like Jorginho and Mount have to play, and they have to get a lot of minutes because they're not going to be able to be involved in the Atletico game. And then it's just how we can work around it, how it makes sense to either start a Kante, bring on Kova, or start Kova, bring on Kante, and then see if Mount and Havertz can play together. Give Havertz another game because he needs to build on that confidence that he built against Everton.
Before we get on to Christian Pulisic, because there's loads of rumours surrounding him as well, I think as per usual, we always have this headache of Kante. Do we play him for the energy he's going to bring, or potentially he could actually be very press resistant as well if he's at his best, like he was against Liverpool? He was very good. Or Leeds are going to press us very high. Do you go with Kovacic and Jorginho because they're going to be able to maybe control the tempo and maybe control Leeds and not give into their high pace, high tempo game? And again, when we're coming up against a team where, yes, we've had the week off, but we've got a game midweek, you might want to reserve your energy. Or do we go and kill the game? Like, there's so many different avenues that we can take here. But I mean, Pulisic, this is an I'm sure you guys have seen it. Pulisic, the rumors circulating. Obviously, he hasn't got much game time recently, and people are wondering and questioning now: is he going to be part of the future? Is he going to look to leave? I think he got 21 goal contributions last season or something, and he was injured for quite a bit of it as well. So personally, for me, I've got quite a lot of patience. I'm sure he does as well. There's been like questions about his mentality and all these type of things as well. I mean, what do you guys make of make of it all? Because I think it's a little bit of
the rumor mill. As
Yeah.
And people need to stop buying into it so much, because it's like, bro, he was injured remember when we started doing this, we were talking about his injuries, if he can come back into the team, the problems that he was having. And now suddenly, because we're doing well, it's like, oh, Pulisic isn't playing. He's only coming on in the last 20 minutes, whatever. He's got a manager that knows his ability, that knows that he can be a starter, that knows that where he can go. That's the perfect situation to be in, especially being a young player where you're so inconsistent because of your injuries. Like, I think if Pulisic looks at the situation, he's got players around his age that are trying to play in his position, and you're playing well. Realistically, you will know that the type of manager Tuchel is, you're going to be like, okay, cool. If I'm Pulisic, I'm looking around, I'm like, I see Hudson-Odoi, I see Mount, I see Havertz, I see Werner, all similar ages. We all weren't doing that well. Obviously, he did well last season under Lampard. This season, no one really had like a breakout season. We've already said that Tuchel was doing his audit. Everyone's got an opportunity here and there. While he was doing that, Pulisic was unlucky to get injured. So now he's coming back from that. He's already said that he knows how good you are coming off of the bench. He said he knows that you can be a beginner, even though he meant starter, yeah? That means
it's a funny term.
When he said beginner, I said, you're violent. This guy moving like he's an academy player. But we know that Tuchel believes in him. You need managers to believe in you at that age. You need managers to kind of take you out of that limelight, because he was in the limelight a bit too much. People are trying to make him seem like, give him that Hazard figure when he wasn't even there yet. You kind of need to simmer down a little bit and just appreciate your situation and come into the team when you get opportunity, then shine. Like, everyone's got their opportunity. Havertz has just got his opportunity coming to the side. He's played well. You could see he was hungry. Yeah. When Pulisic gets that chance, play with that same intensity. Play with the intensity you had last season, where you were taking on a player and you had the end product. This season, it's been a bit. He doesn't have the end product that he did have last season. But at the same time, we know he's got it in him. So the fans, I feel like the fans are behind him. It's just more about just not buying into the rumors or getting too excited by it.
These things are just typical sort of plays that happen, and people need to move papers and get clicks and everything. But the reality of it is, if people haven't noticed, Chelsea have tried to change their approach. We used to be a team that we would go and sign someone who was in their prime or just coming out of their prime, like the Balaks, all of these sort of guys and everything. With Havertz is 21 now. Signed when he was 20. Signed him for how much? 70 odd mil. Pulisic is 22. We signed him for how much? 58 million, something like that. Yeah. These players are not just players for right now, let's get cracking. These are like investments. Same thing with the Kepa signings. Kepa, when we signed him, was how old? 24, I believe. And we put how much bread in his head. Like, what Chelsea are trying to do is, we're putting money into you knowing that you might be here for 5, 6, 7 years. They're not just going to let that go. We didn't let Kepa go. Kepa's still on the bench. We're not just going to let him go. Like, what he needs to do is, he needs a solid preseason where he gets stronger, works hard and everything, and just gets into his body, grows into his body. And he just needs to, as I've always said it with him, it's this aggression that he needs to play with. But I feel like that aggression will only come when he kind of gets into his body. Like, when he came against Everton, he kind of did what Tammy does sometimes. He tried to dribble, then he slipped, and the ball went. And it's like, that will come with him getting strength and conditioning, getting stronger. Like, his ability is there.
Crazy.
I'm seeing Sam struggling with the
I'm trying to.
You got to be listening. You got to figures.
I'm trying to focus myself. And it's just, hello.
That's too funny.
Hey, what's
like the fogs come, like the fogs come and just like
real talk.
Off a bit. But
with Pulisic, there's nothing to worry about, man. We've got a big squad. We've got people that are vying for positions. We're trying to get a trophy and top 4. Like, the manager's going to play the informed players. Like, that is the reality. That is the reality of it. Like, so there's nothing wrong with it.
I feel like a lot of people don't mentally prepare themselves for a big squad, like for a squad that you dream of. The squad that you see on Ultimate Team that's got super depth and everybody's quality and there's competition for places and people are thriving. That means when players are on form, the players that you had initially in your head that were down as your favourites or players that you want to see more often, they're not going to get game time until the players in the team drop off. Players like Ziyech, players like Pulisic, who are not on form, who have had bench appearances and been good, okay, but not great, and not knocking on the door to start. And I keep saying this, Tuchel right now has to put results over anything else because we need to finish top 4. We need to progress in these competitions. And I'd like us to actually win the FA Cup as well. That would be amazing. So I'm not really too concerned about, Pulisic not starting right now or Werner not hitting form right now. And like in terms of players that are obviously we're trying to play players and we're trying to get them into form. But if they're not in form and Tuchel decides to take them out, I'm not going to be like saying keep playing him until he hits form because you have a pre-season.
That's the mistake Lampard was doing as well. That's the mistake Lampard made. He was just playing players. Obviously, he was told to integrate a lot of the players and start the players that were basically the future. But when they weren't playing well, when Havertz, when Werner, when Pulisic, they weren't playing well, he was still playing them week in, week out, getting the same results. Tuchel is a results man. He's coming to get the results. Find a system that works. If it works, then he's going to try to integrate everyone. And if he can, that's amazing. If he can't, then obviously he's going to look at that in the summer. But right now, I think the main focus for everyone in and around Chelsea, fan, player, or anyone is just how well we can finish the season. And that's top 4 and a trophy and hopefully a good Champions League run.
And the thing is as well, if anybody knows Pulisic, it's going to be Tuchel, right? He's managed him at Dortmund. He's
gave him his chance.
Yeah, he gave him his chance. He knows the positions he can play. He knows his strengths. He knows his weaknesses. When he's saying that he's probably better off impact off the bench right now, that might be a fitness thing where, yes, we can see Pulisic is fit, but match fit and playing 90 minutes and then fit is 2 different things. And we know Pulisic, even when Pulisic's been fit before, then he's pulled up before the game against Burnley or pulled up in this game. So we know not to just look at Pulisic and be like, oh, he's fit, so that means he can play. Pulisic is always on the cuff of an injury. And again, people are saying now maybe potentially high line might suit him. A lot of our attackers suit the high line, to be honest. That's why I think it's going to be such a great game, and I think we can pepper them, to be honest.
And and you know that thing that someone just put about the Pep Guardiola thing about Mahrez, Sterling, Torres, bro. There was a lot of talk about Mahrez, his position, whether he's world class anymore because of his situation. He's in and out of the squad. But do you think Mahrez cares, bro? Like, do you think he cares to that extent where he's like he's questioning? He's he's playing for the best team in the country and maybe in the world right now. Yeah. Now he has spurts in and out of the team where you see his quality. And for me, if I'm a player and I'm in that type of situation where I've got a lot of competition around me, but the manager has shown his trust, that's the perfect situation to be in. Like, obviously, some people like being that hero and saying, yeah, it's all down to me, that Grealish type of player. And it's like, if I'm not playing, then the team is struggling. But other players like being in and around competitive environments. Look at Bayern.
Keeps them on their
toes. That they have. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what we're looking to do, and that's what we should be on, because it's just better. Yeah, man, it's better that way.
It's 11 plus the other guys, and it's like only the best will play, and that's always been football. Chelsea have always been a team that it's not just 11 players. We've always had players on the bench that's like, oh, well, that person might want it. It's the same thing with the defending stuff. Look at Christensen now. People were saying, oh, we had that conversation about, do you play Christensen or Thiago? Thiago's injured for a bit longer, obviously. It takes you a bit longer to recover when you're that age. But competition is not a bad thing at all. It's not something that we should be... the only person that should be frustrated about it is Tuchel, because he has to pick the team.
Yeah, but I think you would take this problem. And before we move on from Pulisic as well, people have been saying that potentially his injury issues are the reason as to why he's not the same as other players in terms of giving them so much time, because they're questioning whether his injuries are going to keep stagnating his progress in terms of, yes, we know he needs to bide his time and keep working to get in the team, but if he keeps picking up little injuries, it's like 2 steps back to go 1 step forward, and it's just constantly regressing, not only in the plans in terms of players are on form and in your bottom of the pecking order, but also in terms of a player that he's young, he needs to get minutes, but if he keeps getting injured, how is he ever going to break into such a competitive team? And that's the difference with the likes of a Pulisic or a Mahrez or Bernardo Silva or Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi seems to have got over his injuries, where we know Pulisic and Tuchel will know this as well, throughout his whole career, he's had injuries. So if I'm throwing out the hypothetical that a lot of people are throwing out there, if you have the opportunity to replace a Pulisic with a Neto or with a Sancho or someone like that, do you do it? What's your take on it?
Chelsea don't do it. Like I said, they spent 58 million on a 20-year-old at the time.
Yeah.
Kepa, someone actually said it. It was a 7-year deal at the age of 23, and it was like 70-odd mil. He's not going anywhere unless we're flipping it. That's the reality. Like Marina's kind of showed you guys. Like with the financial decisions now, like we're gonna have to live by them. Like
it's well thought out. They're thinking about it.
Yeah, they might not be the players that people thought they were, but the manager's gonna have to make it work. That's it. That's the reality of it now. Like so, and with the Pulisic one, like again, that is a player that if he's got injuries, you kind of have to get them to a place where they can be who they are, and that's where it is now. He's not playing 90 minutes every week. Get strength and condition, recover from the injuries, come back, have a phased approach. It's so easy if you had to rely on him to try and play him week in, week out, and then he would keep getting pulled off and everything. It's like we don't have to do that. Same thing with Kante. There was a while where we didn't have to play Kante every week because we had other midfielders. Like that's it really, man. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. He's a good player. Like he's
very talented. That's the thing. That's why I've got so much patience. Obviously, if he keeps getting the injuries, then availability is an ability. And if we're not getting value for money, then questions have to be asked. But I think it's too early to say at the end of this season, now we're going to flog him and move on just because we didn't get a good season out of him. He had a great season last year. This season is not so good. Call it averages out. Let's see what he can do next season with a pre-season under Tuchel. No injuries now, hopefully. And just relax a bit. I think sometimes we're a bit insensitive to the fact that these players, a lot of them have been playing back to back with no break for a long time, and then you get an injury-prone player like Pulisic as well. Maybe when there's stuff we're not seeing, a lot of people are going, saying Tuchel, why is he not playing? Maybe there's things we're not seeing. Maybe his training levels and in terms of his, energy output is not the same as the other players. Maybe there's something there. So we don't know. So it's one of those ones where he doesn't have the injury symbol next to his name, but we don't know just how fit he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Tammy as well. Because when Tammy, before Tuchel actually came out and said Tammy's having a few issues with his ankle, everyone was thinking, Tammy's out of the plans. He's going to leave next summer. He's not signing a contract. Bro, he's coming back from an injury that it can be fine one day, then the next training session is hurting again. So he's not going to be in the squad. Like, they're not going to tell us everything in and out of every player, but the way Chelsea set up and the way Tuchel's setting up the team, I trust the way that they're moving in it. So I think everyone should just chill out a little bit.
Yeah, especially when we're winning. There's nothing to really complain about, which someone said in the chat quite nicely. iTest Merchant says, guys, what do you think Money Mason's ceiling is? I'm pretty sure we've got this question before, but for me, world class, simple as that.
Captain.
That's the ceiling. I think that's quite an easy question. What do you guys think?
Captain. That guy, he's just getting better and better, man. And I feel like it's lovely seeing him get the praise that he now deserves, because I feel like he wasn't getting that praise because at a point, obviously everyone saw him as he's Lampard's son and he's playing him when he could be playing other players and all these things. But then when he wasn't playing, you realize that there's something missing. There's an energy missing. There's something in the team, and even though he's so young, he has such an impact on everyone around him. Like, and that's why I'm happy that everyone's saying, Money Mace. You know what I mean? All the nicknames, Mizzy Mount, is all coming out now because the guy is a baller and he's proven he's a baller. But now it's just he's got a new manager. The system's a bit clearer. You're seeing his qualities stand out a bit more in the system as well, and just in general as well. He's playing with a confidence, with a, you know what I mean? Like, he's just a joy to watch, man. So
a player like that, when it comes to ceiling, the ceiling is as high as they make it, because the way that he works to improve himself, no matter how many flaws you may see in his game in terms of final third ball in the final, in terms of his output in the final third, in terms of maybe his final ball, in terms of his passing, making the right decisions, 100%, those are things that need to be improved. But can you say to yourself as a fan, after watching him improve from last season to this season, can you honestly say to yourself, even if you've got doubts about his ability or whether he should be starting and you're questioning why everybody rates him so highly, can you say as that person that you don't think he's going to improve? You probably can't say that. Honestly to yourself, Even if you don't rate him and you don't want him in the team and you think he's blown out of proportion, can you say to yourself that he won't improve in the areas that you think he is weak? You probably bloody well know he probably will, because the guy's work rate in terms of improving himself is on another level. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very evident.
Add on to that is coaching.
Yeah,
like, if you've got a good coach, you're going to improve because he's going to show you, you know, the faults in your game and how to develop upon them. Like, it's not Chelsea related, but Greenwood at the moment. I feel like if Greenwood had a proper coach, like Yolo Foden, you will see the levels that players can reach. That is the reality of it. The reason why we're seeing Chelsea do much better now, and this is no slight on Lampard, is we have a better coach who's coaching these players and putting them in situations where they can, you know, they can thrive. So yeah, Mount will improve as a player. He will go from strength to strength. Like you said, Sam, he's most likely going to be Chelsea captain one day, and he's going to have a really good career. And it's going to be a pleasure to see how it all kind of unfolds, because within the mold of player that he's up against in terms of English-wise and everything, he is essentially the underdog. Everyone's like, why is his name being brought to the party?
That suits him perfectly.
But that's fine. That's fine. Literally, that's fine.
Chip on his shoulder. He needs that.
That being the underdog and being not, again, I don't like making the comparison because it's a very easy comparison to make and everybody does it. But Frank Lampard was also an underdog. I feel like certain players, that suits them to be the underdog, to be always questioned. When Mason Mount steps onto that pitch, he knows not everybody rates him. He knows he's got doubters. That, if anything, is a good thing for him because it just pushes him on even further. And the thing is, when he plays, you can see that every single time he's on the ball, he is putting 100% of himself into that. It's not just about running off the ball and being a guy that puts 100%, you know, passion and work rate into the team. You can see when he's on the ball, he is giving everything. Everything. Like, bro, have you seen it? The concentration on this brother, even when he's making a pass, it looks like as if he's moving into the pass. He's proper putting his foot through it. Like all of his energy is exerted into every single action that he's doing, and that's what I like about him so much, because his concentration is up there. It's just about the experience of making those decisions. And like I said,
he's set the benchmark. Yeah, he set the bench now. Honestly, when Havertz came into that game, and obviously, I was thinking, okay, cool. We've now seen the type of energy we need from someone that either plays a false nine or as the number 10, in and around the front three. Yeah, Havertz proved in that game that he has got the ability to do that, and I don't think that would have been possible if you don't see players like Mount and even Werner to a certain extent, like play with that urgency, with that energy where, okay, cool, on the ball, decision making fast, get into the spaces fast. Tuchel on the bench shouting at these players, telling you to move here, move there. It's so much quicker. But it's beautiful because they're all buying into it. Like, everyone's listening, everyone's learning, everyone's receptive to the information. So yeah, man, all of them we're finally seeing what they can become. Obviously, we're not going to get too excited and say they're all going to be world beaters or whatever, but at the same time, we knew the potential that especially the front line have, and I think he's slowly getting it out of them.
Yeah, and I think it's something where his energy, it pushes onto others. You know what I mean? It's like I said, Jorginho, Kova, they're playing the ball faster now. Obviously, Tuchel's on the sideline shouting. If you've got energy balls around you and people that are full of energy, you have to raise your energy with them. Otherwise, it looks bad. Do you know what I'm saying? And even if him playing at that tempo, sometimes he makes mistakes, cool. But the other players are now playing at that tempo as well. And Chelsea are always better when they play with speed, because we've got players that are technical. We've got players that can bop the ball about, that can do special things on the ball, whether it's Kovacic running through in between the lines, whether it's Pulisic dribbling past 2 or 3 men, Kai Havertz. We've got very technical players. So they should play the game at a tempo and make the opposition think fast, because they should be ahead of the curve at all times. They're very talented players. Ziyech, do you lot think Ziyech can be a Mahrez? I don't want to make that comparison, no, because I think they're different players. I think we're very easy in the Premier League for us to be like, oh, that's a left-footed winger and he's a left-footed winger, so they're the same type of player. Do you know what I mean? I think Ziyech is, he's meant to be a bit more of a creator, where he's meant to really be the heartbeat or the epicenter of chance creation in the team. He's meant to have the most touches. The ball's meant to be funneled through him. He's meant to roam in all areas of the pitch, whereas Mahrez is more a winger that is 1v1. He can score goals. Yes, he'll create chances.
He can beat a man.
Yeah, he can beat a man.
Ziyech's not really. Ziyech's not really. I think that I hear it. I hear the comparison. The way they kick the ball. You know, they're left-footed. Like, but it's we can't just like.
They're both my
wheel it down to them. We can't wheel it down to them things there. Like they're both left-footed. I think that's the most thing that they have in common. To be honest. Yeah.
It's a little bit too simplistic for my liking to just say that. And also, I don't feel like Ziyech has to be anyone else to thrive. He just needs to be himself. Just what I'm saying.
The best version of himself, man.
Yeah, he has to be the best him.
Yeah, we didn't purchase him to be like anyone else. He's a very unique type of player. So I need him to almost show the arrogance that he's shown early in the season. You know what I mean? He had a real arrogance and bop to him. Do you know what I mean? And then he brought it out in Reece as well. And I could see them on that right-hand side. They were taking the piss at times. Like, really taking the piss out of opposition players. I remember Ziyech, he had the ball 1v1 and then he kind of just, like, stood, like, just from a standing position, just stood still and then bang, just round the corner, back heel to Reece and then bang. And it was just rude. It was rude. I don't want Ziyech to be this guy that just, like, runs. Like, there's a certain thing where having multiple tempos in a team and different personalities on the ball is a good thing. Mason Mount will not really be your Ziyech ever. You know what I mean? That's not his personality. Jorginho and Kovar are never going to be your Kantes. I like the fact that we've got players in the team that bring different tempos when they have the ball. Some can slow it down, some will speed it up, some have arrogance, some don't. That's what you need. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's always good. We'll get on to picking the lineup now as well. It's an interesting one again because we spoke about Atletico upcoming. Do you know what I mean? That's going to have maybe bearing, but we'll start with in goal. I think it's same as usual, Mendy, isn't it? Yeah. He is having I think quite. It's not really spoken about a lot, but now that you put it all into context, he's having a very good season. Like
very good season, and he's getting better. Like let's not get it twisted. The confidence of the back line midfield going back to him, the confidence he has on the ball when players are coming to him. Obviously, I don't want to jinx it, Mendy. Please don't embarrass me. But like he's actually playing much more confident, and you can just I just like seeing it because obviously we all know. We all want him to do well in it, so yeah, man. I'm happy that he's doing well, man.
What have you made of him, Mal? Because I think again we spoke about I think last week potentially it was about goalkeeping rumors and whatnot, but I feel like sometimes we always feel like the grass is green on the other side, and I'm not saying that he's world class because it's a bit too early for me to say that when I've only seen him really this season. I don't think I can ever put someone on a pedestal of world class only watching them when they've been at Chelsea. I didn't watch him at Rennes, but he's been quietly unreal. Like he's been quietly, he's been doing his job. Do you know what I mean? Like clean sheets. I think I'm just getting up now in terms of clean sheets. He is third with clean sheets with 13 clean sheets in 23 matches. Top of the pile is Edison, but he's played 28 games with 15. And then Martinez is 26 with 14 clean sheets. So in terms of percentage, he's actually top in terms of matches to clean sheets. He's at 56.5% in the Premier League. So, yeah.
Look, he's doing what, like, you can't fault what he's doing. Yes, he's had, like, maybe 2 moments you've been like, whoa. And yes, sometimes when, you know, when he takes it, because he doesn't open up on his left foot, he always takes it on his right.
Oh, gosh, that stresses me out.
But, like,
that stresses me out, fam.
He saves the ball, he commands his box, like, he's doing what he needs to do, like, and that's why with all of the rumors and everything, I've kind of been like, I'm not, I'm not calling for him to go. Like he's doing what he needs to do. Like at the end of the day, when you're operating at a level like that, you can't fault these guys. Same thing with our defense. Like I think to a certain extent, because of everything we've been through this season, we got to a point where when the simple things were coming like clean sheets, it was like, oh my god. But this is kind of what is expected. Like if you have an organized back five, the keeper has broken everything, you shouldn't really concede goals. Like I've not really had to see him be in a situation as well where we're getting peppered and he's making bare saves.
Yeah,
he makes saves he needs to make, that's good enough for me. Like so, I'm cool with it, man. And
but he's definitely had moments where he had to make big saves. But we've spoken about
awake as well.
Yeah, we spoke about it but that is where the concentration has to be key because this is a 100%. Team that don't concede many shots on target. You know, 1 shot on target for Everton. Man United was low as well. Liverpool. This is a team that they're not even allowing shots on target. So he's not going to have to make many saves. And for me, I give him more praise when he has to make a big save because his concentration levels then have to be extremely high. Even in the Champions League, 1 goal conceded in 6 games. So it's looking good for him. Do you know what I mean? I can't really fault him. I don't know where he is on the list in terms of clean sheets in the Champions League, but I'd say he'd be one of the top guys, if not top.
He's up there, from what I remember.
Yeah, 1 goal conceded in 6 games. You have to be top 3 minimum. So, I think. I mean, let us know in the chat where he is. I mean, someone said Golden Glove incoming. You never know. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, you never know. If he gets Golden Glove first season, that's good. That's a great signing. Like, great signing. I can't lie.
People to do it for sure. I know that.
13 clean sheets. He's faced 16 shots this season in the Prem. Really? 16 shots.
I saw someone yesterday was trying to have an argument with me online about Henderson, because I wasn't even buying Henderson yet. I just said that they were hyping him so much for him to make that mistake in the last minute, and they were like, "Oh, he would start for your club." And I was thinking, in this current state, I don't think he would. In this current situation, I don't think he would. Because would Mendy make that mistake? I don't think he would. Like, being honest. So, yeah, man. United fans, they're salty, bro.
Let's go on to the 3 at the back, because obviously I think Thiago Silva's not available.
He's not available.
Yeah, so which is surprising.
It's funny though. He did. Tuchel did come out and say that he believes they could play together.
Yeah.
And Christian can play on either side, which is like, okay, you know what? It sounds like Tuchel's fully bought into the concept that Christensen's here to stay. Christensen's well within his plans. Christensen's the centre back for him, which is, you know what? Interesting developments. Like, he's only got 18 months left.
Yeah.
So it looks like Lewis won.
I think, I mean, I've heard that he's going to get clean. From every report that I'm getting, it seems like he's going to be given a new contract, and they're going to try and do it before the Euros. And not only is that because he's been on form, but I also think that's because his contract's running out, isn't it? When did you say it runs out?
Yeah.
End of next season.
Something like that, yeah. And probably end of next season, yeah.
Yeah. The Euros is coming. He's always, no matter how much I've doubted him, I've always said he's got value on the Continental. So you need to be in a strong selling position regardless of whether he's playing well or not. You can't, that is not a player that you should be letting years run out on contracts. We shouldn't be doing an Arsenal. He is always valuable, that guy. So I think, even when I had my doubts about him, in terms of making it here, I always said to myself, if he goes to Spain or Germany, he's going to be unreal. Unbelievable. He's going to be calm. Do you know what I mean? He's one of those players where he's like Gerard Piqué was a bit, where didn't really suit Prem when he was in his early young days, but as soon as he went to Barcelona, no problems. That's kind of how Christensen is for me. And I feel like we do have to get the contract done, because we need, even if for some crazy reason he doesn't continue this, which I actually think he probably will. He looks very comfortable right now. He looks like a player that has been reborn under two. This is the first time I'm really seeing him, and I'm like, oh wow, he might actually be all right. Do you know what I mean?
No, he's given us that sense of security that we've needed, man. Like, like, as fans, you don't necessarily want to hate players. You know what I mean? Especially when you've seen them have periods where they've done well. Do you get what I'm saying? So when he was coming in and out of the team and he wasn't really showing dominance, he was when he was going up for headers and going into challenges, he didn't look as strong. Now, this is the Christensen that we all wanted. Do you get what I'm saying? When the recoveries that he's making against some of the strikers, like the challenges that he's making, the composure, this is what we wanted. So if he's showing that now, and he's showing the trajectory to continue to improve, then of course a contract makes sense. But just want him to continue to do that, man, because he could stamp himself as our main centre back, like our main focal point. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what we need. To be honest, we need consistency.
I'm very interested to see if Tuchel switches to a back four at any point, if he can still play in that. Because now I think the next stage for him, I've seen back three, he's been brilliant in the middle, suits him perfectly as well in terms of elite positioning, awareness, good on the ball. So I can understand why that makes sense for him. Now I'm interested to see if we was to ever move to a back four, even just on the rare off that Tuchel wants to do it, to switch systems, switch tactics, can Christensen switch there? Because if he can, that puts him on another level now, where he's actually able to play multiple systems, and then it's not a thing where it's like, oh, he benefits from the system. He's actually just a player that is good. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's his challenge, to be fair. Yeah, he's challenging.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, what back three would you play, bro?
I would go Rudiger, Christensen, and Aspie. I would want to rest Aspie, but just because of how Leeds play and the expansive nature and everything, you still need that experience there. Like, I feel like you need that experience there. And I feel like them three have enough to sort of handle it. So that would be my three. But to be fair, you could swap Aspie with Zuma if you wanted to. But I would go those three.
So, yeah. What about you, Sam?
I'll go Zuma, Christensen and Rudiger, you know. Like, I think that like I said, I always, even though Aspie is very consistent, I always just have these flash moments in my mind of him just getting overrun by someone.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? And I just don't like the thought of that in it. And obviously Leeds are going to come out. They got a point to prove. They need to, the last run of games haven't been that great. So yeah, man, I think Zuma brings the security with his reactions. He's a bit faster. He can play on the ball. He's not bad on the ball as well. And he's got a point to prove. So I think that backline has enough experience, to be honest.
I've been waiting for an opportunity where I can say Reece James can play in that three, and I think I'll take it now. I really do. I think I'll take it now.
I don't think he will ever do it, though.
I know,
but
for me, it's baffling. For me, it's baffling as to why he wouldn't, because it's not a height situation, because Aspie's playing there. So, and I know on the ball, he's going to be better. Obviously, he's younger, so inexperienced, maybe positioning might not be as tight, but potential-wise, I can't see why he wouldn't play him there in the long term, because he's played the centre-back at academy level, so he understands that. And we've always spoken about Reece as this very balanced fullback. He's not a wing-back he's not a Trent, like, who just bombs forward and has no awareness of how to defend. He knows how to defend. We've seen that at right back many times when he played against Wilfred Zaha last season in his first season, bodied him at home. Unbelievable performance. Like, that was one of his best performances for me. So for me, I don't expect it to happen, but if it's me picking the team, I would actually try it. I want to see Reece James at right side of centre back. I want to see just how he takes the responsibility, because it is a bigger responsibility, in my opinion, to play in that back three than it is. I mean, at wing back now, you kind of know, your job. Do you know what I mean? You know you need to get up and down. You're comfortable at that right back slot anyway. To play right side.
He had a good game though at right wing back against Everton. Like, that's the energy that I've been wanting from him. Like, I think he had the most successful take-ons in the game. I think he completed like five take-ons.
If you play Choda, with the way Leeds play, it's like, is that really fair to put him in that situation?
What, to move Hudson-Odoi to right wing back?
No, if you played Hudson-Odoi at right wing back against Leeds, is that the best place for him to thrive against a team like that? I would almost argue that him playing further up, where there's going to be space, where he can ghost in space, where he can create behind the line and everything's probably a bit easier.
It's a good point. It's an interesting one as well, because that means in that front three, one of Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, or Mason Mount isn't going to start if you're putting Hudson-Odoi up there. So I'm guessing you're both mentally prepared for dropping one of those boys. And I feel like I know who you're going to drop, and I'm probably going to end up agreeing with you. So cool, I'll agree with you on that one. Actually, I'll go Reece James right wing back for that reason, and I'll go probably left wing back's an interesting one, because I think Chilwell was playing well before Alonso was put back into the team, but I get it, because I think Alonso, just going forward, he tends to take up more central positions. Like, his runs are inverted, and Chilwell's roles are more wide. They're more on the touchline. They're more, creating width on the pitch. Whereas Alonso, he will make that inverted run that is literally in the penalty box, and then when you find him, then it's like, for the assist for Kai, he's in the box. Do you know what I mean? He's ready to be very much involved in that process.
If he was faster, oh my days!
My days,
bro. Honestly, because he gets in such good positions. Like, even for the goal, for the own goal. Like, obviously, Chilwell is a great left back, but like we said, Alonso he's just got the mind to go forward. Like, the way he just drifted into that position, and then the perfect delivery back. Like, he saw it before he even swung his foot. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Just that decision making. If he was faster, I think it would give Chilwell much more problems. But for a team like Leeds, like, Chilwell has to start. For me, like, he has to start.
A lot of people will say as well, I mean, I've seen it in the comments, this might be an opportunity to rest Hudson-Odoi for Atletico and play a Pulisic. What do you, I mean, it's an interesting one.
I hear it.
It is,
because you're not going to play Pulisic against Atletico Madrid. That's one thing you do know. That's not happening.
Do you know what I think is going to happen in this game? The thing is, yeah, Hudson-Odoi works. Like, you know, when he got subbed off, like, even that game, like, you saw the stats, he works. I genuinely feel that even though Werner's not scoring, Werner works. He's going to press. He's going to be able to ghost him behind. If he misses 2 opportunities, he's going to get hooked. Like, that's what's going to happen. But I think he has to start. I think Havertz has to start as well because of the form he's in. And then I think you can give the other one to Pulisic because he's got space to dribble. I feel like Hudson-Odoi, with the Athletic game coming up, with his energy that's needed, and with the second half of this game that will be open, like, this is a game where it's almost like when you're playing like a game where it's like, you know, first team players, you know, you can have it easy, like, you know, just thing. And then Mason Mount has to play this game, obviously.
Of course.
So that's where it gets interesting. That's where it gets interesting because he's not playing this game.
We didn't even pick a left wing back. I mean, who would you guys play there?
Chilwell for me.
Chilwell, because Alonso's going to play Atleti. So you go Chilwell for
okay. I'd agree with that, yeah. Because I think Champions League wise, Alonso's got the experience as well over Chilwell. This is more of an energy sapping game, whereas the game against Atleti is more of a mental game. So I agree with you that one. I'd go Chilwell left wing back. What about the double pivot? Because obviously we know, I mean, Jorginho's would so I think Jorginho we'd all agree should play.
Jorginho Kante.
And I think he's actually he's the one player in that pivot options apart from Gilmour who can dictate as well. So I always want a dictator in there somewhere. So Gilmour's obviously not playing because he's like bottom of the pecking order. We know that, and he knows that as well. It was said kind of early on from Tuchel, which is fair. I can understand it just from a political standpoint as well, and even probably an ability one. I feel like Gilmour's a very talented hot prospect, but maybe we are too quick to just say, "Yo, he needs to be starting immediately." Do you know what I mean? Let's.
I think those conversations ended when Jorginho just started running games. To be honest,
and you look at the way Phil Foden's developed as well. I kind of trust Tuchel to do a similar thing with Billy Gilmour because they're both very technical players as well.
Young players have to bide their time, man. And centre mid, the centre mid is one position that you can't just throw youngsters in. Like, it's unforgiving. Like, in training, he's going to be learning from some good players. Like, there's going to be opportunities where he comes and he gets to play games or he gets to see games out and everything. Like, let him develop. There's no need to, and I get it because, like, obviously everyone knew the hype about him. Everyone saw when he made Fabinho look like a little boy. Everyone see these moments and hold on to it. And it's like, yeah, listen, he can do it. Like, just give it time. Like, he's got a long career ahead of him. He's going to be at Chelsea for a while. There's no rush. But I would do the Kante Jorginho. I feel like Jorginho has protection with Kante. I feel like Jorginho slows the game down and he moves it quickly enough. Kante just gives you that. And if we need to get the ball back, he gives you that. And then in terms of the front three, that's where it's interesting. People are saying Pulisic. Now that I think about it, I don't think Pulisic actually starts this one.
I think he should, though. I think he should, though.
But I don't think he does because ultimately.
But would you start him, though?
I think I would,
I wouldn't. I'll bring one second off.
Okay.
I'll bring one second off. I think that when the game, there's an opportunity for the game to become more open and you just say, you know, go. I feel like the intensity that's needed in that first half, I know Mount will give it to me. I know Werner will give it to me. And with Havertz, the way Havertz is playing, I want to play him in the middle, like false nine.
So are you resting Hudson-Odoi then in your front three?
Yeah, I'm resting Hudson-Odoi. I'm resting him.
See, I'll go the other way. I think it would be Mount, Pulisic, and Havertz. I think resting Hudson-Odoi and Werner would just be it. I think it just makes sense going into the Leeds game. I feel like that front three gives you enough of the energy and the energy and the the free fall. Like Hudson-Odoi, you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Hudson-Odoi is one of those players that you know he's going to take on a few players, whatever. Pulisic gives you. No, I'm not starting Hudson-Odoi, but I'm saying Pulisic can do what Hudson-Odoi does. He just needs that confidence. Do you get what I'm saying? I think if you start a Pulisic, so but that's what I'm saying. Now this is where there's a little bit of a,
because there's some people saying that, listen, Hudson-Odoi had a great game against Everton. Give him a run of games in that position now to build confidence. Kai, I'd agree. I agree with your pivot first of all, because I think Kova's available for Atletico, so give Kova that rest, and go Georgie and Kante. And obviously Leeds, whether we like it or not, are going to have some of the ball. They're not a team that don't. They usually get some of the ball. They're going to have chance. They're going to attack. So we're going to need someone that can take the ball off them. So I agree with that. But the front three, think
he deserves a chance. He deserves a chance. Let's be honest. Everyone else has got a chance in this first team. Tuchel is already come out and said that he's been used to him coming off the bench, and that might be something that he needs to kind of look at himself at, because realistically, it's unfair. Like you're giving everyone else a chance. Ziyech had 2.
Has Pulisic not made one start under Tuchel?
I think maybe one against Barnsley. Was it the Barnsley game he started?
Probably. Yeah, him and Ziyech.
Yeah. I don't think he started any other game in the Premier League anyway. Like, so if you haven't started him and you're thinking to rest players, you're thinking to change it up a little bit, you want to kind of silence the critics in a sense. Obviously, you don't want to think of it in that way, but if you do really believe in these players, you think that he's training well, you think that he's up to the standard, because he said in his interviews he's been training well, and he's only been a victim of the fact that he knows that he can do what he needs from the last 20 to 30 minutes. If you believe that he can do that and he can be a starter, then give him an opportunity. Like, and if it's going wrong, like you did to Hudson-Odoi, take him off at half time or even early if you really feel like it's going against you. But you need to give him that opportunity. Let him feel like he's a part of this team and not just someone that's fallen a victim of knowing you too much.
I think a lot of people have obviously said Ziyech. I wouldn't start Ziyech in this game. No chance.
No.
I think I'll probably disagree with both of you, actually. I think I'll probably go with Mount, Hudson-Odoi and Kai Havertz. I'm just dying to see that front three.
That was my first thought. But then I was thinking, I thought
I am dying to see
that would be nuts.
Because Timo's finishing, right, has been so poor. And it was so poor against Everton. I know he brings the energy, but I believe we're going to get a lot of chances against this Leeds team. And the last thing I want to see is Timo Werner missing a bag of chances when this game could have been 2-3, even 4-0 at points. I think this game, we could potentially... Because Leeds are not going to approach this game in any type of way that hinders us from attacking. They're always the same every time. And I personally think we could get this game... Maybe I'm arrogant with this, but I think we could get this game wrapped up at halftime. I really do. I think if we're clinical,
that's what the approach should be.
I really do. I think this Leeds team are so open and they expose themselves so much. I think we can get this game wrapped up at halftime. I think this could be like a 3-0 at halftime. And I would go with the front three that I'm dying to see. I don't think Werner deserves to play after that finishing that I saw against Everton. I'd go with Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, fluid front three, players that can interchange, players that are confident, players that in front of goal. For me, that's the three that are most likely to get you goals as well. That combination, Mount obviously scoring against Liverpool, Hudson-Odoi, I know he doesn't score a lot of goals, but he's been going from right wing back to wing, but he is confident. Kai, I think out of all the strikers right now, he's probably the one that I'd want to see the most up front and to get a consistent run of games. And then and it's a lunchtime kickoff, if someone said, please stop, it's a Premier League match. What do you mean by it's a Premier League match? Because a Premier League match is very important. So I'm confused. Elaborate on that. But it's a lunchtime kickoff on a Saturday. I think if you can wrap that up early, bring on Pulisic, bring on whoever you want to bring on in second half if the game's done, and then you've got all the way you've got Saturday, afternoon all the way to Wednesday to rest your players. That's how I see it.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. That front three is the original one that I thought, but then when I was seeing in the comments, I was seeing Pulisic and all that stuff, thinking, he slightly does deserve a chance. Slightly. With everything that's been going on recently as well. Man came on. What did we say when Havertz, before Havertz got the opportunity? He came on in the last 3 minutes, the game before. That stuff, we're dealing with younger players right now. Like, that stuff can kill a man's confidence. Obviously, they're going to come on to do what it needs to do for the team, but these rumors, everything.
That's another.
What was
thing.
that?
After the Atleti game, we've got a good run of games coming up. I expect to be heavy. So I guess. It's still like loads of games. Like it's just one of those games where if you've got someone that's you've had question marks on how fit they are and their injuries and whatnot, especially in a game where it's going to be like roller coaster, like press, run, change direction, and everything. Do you want to put him in there from the get-go?
I feel you. No, it makes sense.
I think someone said here that it's a Premier League match in terms of they're going to be difficult. I'm not saying that the game is going to be... I'm not saying the game is going to be easy, but what I'm saying is this Leeds team are perfect for us. If there's ever a time, this is how many times have we been saying on this show that we're coming up against a low block this week and we're not clinical. It's going to be a long day. Like, even if we're favourites, this Leeds team plays so open that we are going to get a bag of chances. And we know our defence right now is being rock solid. So we shouldn't be... And it's not like, as I said earlier on, Leeds, 3 out of the last 4 games have not scored. They create a lot of chances, but they're not very clinical. I spoke about it with Connor from One Leeds fan channel earlier this week. So this game is perfect for us because it's a team that, yes, they create chances, but they don't score. Our defence is rock solid, and we don't concede a lot of chances as well. So I'd expect their chances created to come down. But they're always open. I mean, take it for instance, right? Even this game that they won in their last 4, Leeds 3, Southampton 0. Leeds conceded 13 shots to Southampton, took 11 shots, 5 on target for Southampton. So even when they're dispatching teams, they're still conceding so many chances. And this is my point, is that the game against Leeds, in that first half, nothing's going to change. We are going to get so many chances. And if we are clinical, 100% you could be 3-0 up at halftime. Or it's not because they're a bad team. It's just the way that they approach the game. They set themselves up to get slapped. Do you know what I mean? If any serious team who's on their game and is clinical, say Havertz is in the mood, say Mason Mount is clinical in front of goal, say Hudson-Odoi, if you play players that are on form, you could potentially get this wrapped up in the first half because Leeds just
Arsenal 3-0 up against Leeds at half-time. Of course, it finished 4-2, but Arsenal 3-0 up. I think it was an Aubameyang penalty, Aubameyang goal, and Hector Bellerin. Like, if Arsenal can do that, Chelsea have the ability to do that. I'm not saying that we're going to go smack them up, but the way they play enables a team like Chelsea that if they're on their day, you can handle business.
Yeah. And then if you go 3-0 up against them, or even 2-0 up at half-time, and you feel like the game is won, you have the opportunity to...
Bring on players.
Yeah, you have the opportunity to bring on a Pulisic, to bring on a Ziyech, players that are not really that confident, and say, listen, the game's won. It's an open game. You know, Leeds have nothing, you know, they're not playing for anything now. The game's basically rock solid. Go and express yourself. So that's how I would go for it, because I still think this is a huge game, and I don't want to take risks. I'm always nervous going into games because, again, I'm like Sam said at the start of the show, we're used to W's now, and I don't want that to end. Like, we've had draws, but I can't take an L right now. Like, mentally, I haven't prepared myself for an L.
Yeah. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt regardless. That's the thing. Like, I feel like every game I'm just hoping, okay, even if Leeds, let's say Leeds, God forbid, something mad happens, we either take it or we draw, just win that game against Atletico. And then everything beyond then we can keep it moving. But that game there cannot be that game where this run ends. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even talking about Leeds or the Prem. I just still want to hear those Champions League, the music, so I can just feel them back, man. I'm not over that yet.
Bro, I remember making a video last year on Twitter when we were, because again, my whole thing with the top 4 races, right? If we are, everybody's thinking about, you know, potentially fighting on multiple fronts, and that's how I always want to go about this as well. If we do get past Atletico, we're in the quarterfinals. If we do get past Sheffield United, which I expect us to, and then we're in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, you don't want to be on the brink of top 4. Like, you don't want to be in 1 point out of, and you're fighting between 3-4 teams. I want us to get this top 4 race. You're never going to get it wrapped up, but I want us to be in a nice,
firm.
Firm. I want us to have a firm grip on this shit before it gets to squeaky bum time. Do you know what I'm saying? I do not want this team finally to get themselves into the top 4 and they drop points against Leeds, and then I don't want that all season. I want them to get a firm grip of this, because the sooner you get a firm grip of this situation, then you can start taking on other situations and other comps. And I think this squad is big enough to challenge on multiple fronts. But if they start getting to a point where, like last season, they're playing for the last day of the season against Wolves, and it's like, if we don't win, we're out the top 4. Like, we don't need that. Like, nobody needs that. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just stressful.
Yeah, word.
No, we've got enough time on the clock. I mean, I don't know how many games are left now, if I'm looking at it now before we wrap up.
About 10, is it?
10 games. We've got 100%. Like, what? Actually, let me look at our fixtures upcoming, because you said that our fixtures were looking a bit more favourable. I'd hate to go through a good run, and then the games that we ought to win, we don't capitalise on. That would piss me off.
The only good thing, I guess, is I think the teams around us they're definitely gonna go through things in it. Like, I know for a fact Leicester are gonna go. The rest of their season is going to be trials and tribulations. Everton, they've lost Akure for 10 weeks. Rodriguez isn't coming back until after the international break. West Ham, something's gonna have to change, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because this run that they're on, I don't know what they think they're doing. And even
I speak to West Ham on a weekly. I'm just like, where do you think you're going?
Yeah, like what's going on? Obviously, the only thing is with West Ham, I actually like a lot of their players. Like I even respect what Moyes is doing to a certain extent. But bro, if it's costing us, then they need to start losing, innit? But even United as well, they're gonna go through their run of games. They're without Pogba, they've looked to shadow themselves, like. And they're going to go through games where they expect to win and they're going to get draws, they're going to get losses. So, yeah, man, I think if we can consistently just keep winning, going into every game like it's our last game. And I think we can. I don't think us going unbeaten until the end of the season is a myth. I think the way we're playing, the fact that players are getting better, I think that's something that can be a possibility. But it's just about how much we can believe, how much he can actually get out of the players. If he can really tell them, really get into them that we're a quality side. Do you get what I'm saying? This is only the beginning. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
I mean, after Atletico, it's quarterfinal against Sheffield.
Yeah.
West Brom we should be dealing with. Palace we should be dealing with. Brighton we should be dealing with. West Ham's a decent game, a decent matchup, but we can go into that thinking we can beat them. Fulham, decent team. We can go into that thinking they're beating them.
Yeah.
Then it's the last four. It's the City, the London derby against Arsenal, the Leicester. God knows what state it's going to be at that point. And then Villa on the final day. It could have been all done by then. So, but the next three,
9 points.
That should be cash. It should be cash.
Hopefully, this is the period where we just start banging goals. You know, we said in the preview before Everton, like everything needs to start clicking. I think Havertz might just be the key to everything clicking. So. I can't lie, because in that game, I was, you know, those performances that make you believe, bro. Like you're actually thinking this guy is a baller. Like he was involved in everything. He looked hungry. I just need, if Werner can maybe have a little FaceTime with him at night, tell him that, bro, let's just do something together. Do you get? I want Werner to start bagging in, bro. I need Werner to start bagging braces because I backed him for too long for him not to repay me for the loyalty. That's all it is. I really like the guy.
And loyalty points.
Man, real talk, man. Just loyalty goals. I'll even put him in my fantasy. You know what I mean?
Really? Mad. For me, Leeds, West Brom, Crystal Palace, Brighton, 12 points. Not on a joke thing. 12 points. That's what I want. 4 wins out of 4. And then when you get to that West Ham, then you can see where you are, because then you've only got 6 games left, including that West Ham game, until the end of the season. And to be honest, if you we've already seen you show a bit of consistency in this league, and it'll take you a long way. Do you know what I'm saying? It's one of them ones. So we'll wrap up now. Obviously, we'll get score predictions and obviously let them know where they can find you, bros. Mayowa, we'll start with you. Threesixtytv, what's going on? What's coming out? Let us know. Versus as well.
I think I have an interview with a baller next week coming out. Versus should be coming out next week, so that should be an interesting one. Stoppagetimetv, that will come out on Monday. That's it at the moment, man. But yeah, just keep following, keep supporting, all of that stuff. In terms of my prediction, I'm going 3-0. You know,
come on, let's go.
I'm telling you, it's one of them ones. This is an opportunity to announce our attacking football. That's what I'm seeing.
Finally,
100%. Links are in descriptions. Make sure you go and check that out. Sam, bro, let them know as well what's going on for you and what's happening. What's upcoming?
Same old Football Daily or my YouTube channel. You can search that Samo. Put that into your things. Thank you everyone that actually got me to 500 subs last week as well. Actually, I appreciate that. I've got a few things coming out. Actually, I'm doing like a historic footy agenda episodes. I think I'm gonna switch up the way I do those episodes now. I think there's a lot of agendas that have come in the past that we haven't really spoke about. I want to get you man involved as well. But yeah, that's going to be coming in the next few weeks. And then some other stuff. If you man are into anything that's not football, you know, music. I've got a docu-series that's coming out soon as well. So yeah, man, trying to just do as much content as possible. And if you're on Snapchat, go on the Football Daily Snapchat and you'll see me on there like daily, to be honest.
Love that. And like I said, links are in the description. I'm going to post the links now. So this first link is Sam's channel. So make sure you people go and subscribe to that. 360 link coming in now as well.
Love.
Take him to 600 people. Do you know what I'm saying? This ain't no joke. Do you know what I'm saying? We may hit a milestone next week. This week is a new week. Make sure you subscribe. There's 232 of you in here. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the link into the chat as well. And obviously smash a like on the video. We know the reaction tomorrow is going to be fun with Anita and Dami. We got that upcoming. Still trying to. Me and Gab Marcotti, right? We're trying to get this thing sorted, but this brother is so busy. Oh my goodness, fam.
Who's busy?
Gab Marcotti, fam. But he's good. I'm having him come on here as well as soon as possible. We've been speaking for weeks, but it's just about making sure that, when you're going through email with someone, it's long, innit? I don't check my email. So I'll see, because it could have been last Friday for everybody here, but I didn't check the email until Saturday. So the email's like, shit, bro. And that's just how it goes in this game, do you know what I'm saying? But we'll get it patterned eventually. It's one of those things where brother's very busy, but he said he's ready to come on. Obviously, we know we're going for an ESPN takeover. So, like I said, look forward to Gab Marcotti. Hopefully, I'd say next week. I'm hoping to get it sorted for if I can get it sorted. 360TV, Stoppage Time TV. Link is in the chat as well. Go and subscribe. Make sure you guys are checking out the uploads. Like I said, great content from the both of them. Do you know what I'm saying? And like I said, go and support it because
big you up as well, bro.
Yeah, man.
Big you up as well, bro.
I don't need to do that. Do you know what I mean? But this is a free man show. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a free man show. It takes free to tango. So make sure you man are subscribed. And big up yourselves as well for joining us. I appreciate it. I know we was clashing with Dami.
What you man say? Wait, I didn't even put the score prediction. I'll say. Oh, I was gonna say 4, but I don't want to be a bit.
You don't want to be too greedy.
I don't want to be too greedy.
I've been hyping.
I just want Werner to bag a brace, bro. If that's either him starting or on the bench or coming off the bench, just bag a brace for me, bro. When he scores, I feel so happy. Like, even when he wins pens, like, that's the point that I'm at, because I just want him to succeed, man. Because I know that he's got, every Chelsea fan knows the baller that we got, but because of the period that he's had, it's just like, it's hard to back him right now. When he misses these chances in front of goal, it's hard to back him. But once he starts bagging, I genuinely believe people are even comparing man to Martial. Like, how you compare man to that? Let's disrespectful. Like, you know what I mean? Martial's been here for years. You know what I mean? But I think
people forget this is Timo's first season. So I've
first season, bro.
Yeah. So there's things he needs to fix up on first touch and whatnot. But I think mentality wise, he's on another level. Do you know what I'm saying? I've been saying that for a long time. Mentality wise, compared to some of the other strikers we've had here that maybe let the pressure get to him, I'm not seeing that with him. So I think I'm very much ready for him to really be better in his second season after a pre-season, maybe a bit of a rest. To be honest, they have the Euros this year as well, so these men never get a rest, which is actually worrying from a player welfare standpoint. But I guess we'll address that next week. I feel like that's a whole topic in itself, and if I bring it up now, we'll go on for a while.
It's
but
a big topic, and it's something that I'm trying to do something on soon. But player care, player welfare,
it's nuts.
We're
right
gonna
now.
talk, innit? Yeah, it's what
these
I can see it.
are gonna disappear.
They're actually playing every 3 days, bro. You did that when you was flipping in secondary school, year 7, year 8, fam. These men are grown men and they're playing at the top level. It's nuts, man.
We're gonna be having conversations. So make sure you subscribe. I can see Sam's on 550 now. Get him to 600 on the playback if you man are watching this after it goes live. And like I said, I'll big up. See you guys next week for the preview as well with these guys as well. And obviously we got big fixtures. So next time I see our crew here, we would have played a Fletty.
3 point. I'm adopting that as well, man. Collectors, guy.
In a bit. Glasses gang are out. In a bit, people.
Perfect.